This is what to do when you feel abandoned by God. Every believer goes through this from time to time. Why? Because we're human. We're humans trying to understand the ways of an infinite God. The goal of this isn't to not feel sorrowful or to not feel mad or sad at God, but it's about understanding what or where is a safe space to actually take these emotions to. And in Psalm 13, David expresses the same frustration and the same disappointment that a lot of us believers can face. The feeling that we've been abandoned by God. Psalm 13, David, this is literally him talking and praying directly to God. He says, "How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long shall I take counsel in my soul, having sorrow in my heart daily? How long will my enemy be exalted over me?" Here's the first thing that I want you to notice from these first two verses. David goes to God and he's straight up with him. He doesn't go to God and with a mask, and he doesn't pretend to think that, oh, everything's all good, when in reality he feels as though he's abandoned by God. No, he goes to God and he says, "God, I feel abandoned by you. How long will you forget me forever?" Forever. And this is the invitation that God invites us to when we feel these emotions. It's to share it and express it to him. This is the true essence and beauty of prayer. It's not just listing out bucket lists and all these desires that you want in prayer. This is what it looks like to commune and walk with God in the highs and lows of our life. This is what true intimacy with God looks like. Verse 2, "How long shall I take counsel in my soul, having sorrow in my heart daily?" This is a grave danger that even I'm guilty of at times of doing. It's leaning on my own understanding, giving in and listening to my own thoughts and my own emotions, instead of bringing it to God and seeing what the Word of God says about Him and about me. So what happens is when I choose to go inward and I listen to myself and I give in to my thoughts and emotions, I take counsel in my own soul. And what does that do? What did it do to David? Our perspective to what's going on is limited. We lose sight of God, we lose hope, and we start to lose faith. But look at what David does next. In verse 3 to 4, he says, "Consider and hear me, O Lord, my God. Enlighten my eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death." I want you to focus on that when he says, "Enlighten my eyes." It's a spiritual enlightenment. It's an awakening of our spiritual eyes to the reality of what's going on. The reality of what's going on and the reality of who God is. What you feel isn't always the reality. So the response should be you choosing, intentionally humbling yourself and choosing to ask God, "Hey, no matter what, God, this is how I feel, but would you show me who you truly are?" And when we remain in this posture, we're actually able to see God for who He truly is. Does God end up changing our circumstance once our spiritual eyes are opened? Not all the time. But one thing that's guaranteed is the way you view God in your current circumstance is going to change. Asking God to enlighten our eyes is asking Him to give us fresh perspective, fresh understanding of who He is, fresh faith, fresh insight to continue to move forward with Him. Now, the last part of Psalm 13, 5 to 6, he rejoices. He rejoices because now he's trusted in Him. That despite how I felt before, I can still trust in the one and only God. I can still trust in who He is, His faithfulness, and His character. When God seems far, it's actually when He's the most closest. This isn't reverse psychology to try to trick you into thinking that He's actually close when He's not. No, this is a living reality that at times we need to constantly remind ourselves and to read this and to soak ourselves in the scriptures to remind ourselves that this is the truth, so that this truth could take root into our hearts.